I haven't felt anything in months. Like, I just thought that I was really calm, or I was just, I don't know what I thought, but I haven't felt a single feeling in a really, really long time. And I thought that this numbness was a good sign, like maybe I was finally happy, or maybe I was finally like everything was falling into place and everything was doing good. But I think I swapped out happiness for productivity. I swapped out happiness for one day I'm going to have all of these achievements, and I completely put myself and how I was feeling and everything on the back burner. And I just said, you know what, you have to be productive, you have to be motivated. You can't give a shit about your feelings, you can't give a shit about your energy levels, you can't give a shit about the fact that you haven't felt a single feeling in months, that you haven't had a single thought in your head, that you haven't had a creative spark in a really long time. Like, forget that. Just keep grinding, just keep going. And of course, it's really easy to fall pity to hustle culture just because it seems achievable. Like, just stop thinking, stop feeling, and just work, and then eventually you'll be happy and you'll get everything done. But I gotta say, I'm in the middle of the busiest weeks of my life, and I'm being so incredibly productive. But then sometimes I sit down at night and I'm just like, I wish I could just feel something. And I've been thinking a lot about two phrases a lot recently. One is, do not let the world turn you bitter. And the other is, we are human beings, not human doings. And let me explain my thoughts. So, don't let the world turn you bitter. This is something that I always used to say to myself when I was a kid, because I would walk around and I would see all of these adults, and they're grumbling and they're complaining and they're rude and they yell and they snap and they're just these bitter people. And I always hated them. I hated the adults who were like that, who weren't kind to kids. I hated the adults that were like that, who they were bitter all the time and they made the world such a horrible place. I made a promise to myself when I was younger, don't let the world turn you into that. Because I understood from a very early age that people turn bitter because they've been through bad things, and they get into the cave. They go into the cave of, why me? Why is this happening? Why couldn't I have had a better life? Why couldn't better things have happened to me? Why? And they just sit around and they ponder that question their whole life. So I told myself, I would not let that happen to me. I would turn my whys into power. I would turn my pain into strength. I would do what was necessary to carry me forward. I would not become bitter no matter how much life tried to pull me down. And yet I am. I find myself grumbling, and I find myself complaining, and I find myself snapping at people, and I find myself just angry all the time. And anger is a secondary emotion. It's like there's something underneath the anger that's causing the anger. So you're not actually angry, you're something else. And what I am is numb, and I'm angry that I'm numb. I'm angry that I don't feel as deeply as I used to. I'm angry that I don't walk around with as much love and gratitude naturally as I used to, that I'm not filled with like wonder and creativity and happiness. And this other thing I've been thinking about is this quote that says, we are human beings, not human doings. Meaning that the very essence of life, the very essence of being human is just to be here. There's not anything you have to run off and do. There's not anything you have to run off and be. There's no mountain you have to climb. You just have to be here. And everyone here knows that like my deepest wound is that I just want to go and be something great so that I can prove that I'm worthy of love, right? This is my deepest thing that I've never gotten past my entire life. Like, every time I try to push for something, every time I try to go for something, it's always deeply rooted in the insecurity that I'm not good enough, and that I somehow have to prove that I am good enough. I don't do things because I love them. I do them because I'm running from myself. I don't want to sit around and face the fact that, like, hey, even if you never accomplish anything from now till the day you die, you're still good enough. And that is a sentence I refuse to hear. That is a sentence I do not want to hear. That is a sentence I do not want to believe. I have been running my entire life from people, from memories, from myself. And so if you ask me to stop running for just a second, you ask me to be any less productive, you ask me to be any less busy, I do not know who I am without running. I do not know who I am without abandoning myself. I do not know who I am in stillness and in silence, because escaping has always been my job. Trying to avoid life has always been what I am best at. This week I tried to get back in my rhythm of like, yeah, I want to like be an ultramarathon runner and I want to go and get a PhD. And I tried to run again, and I was doing school full-time and I'm doing my full-time job, and my schedule was literally booked so busy I didn't even have a moment to breathe. And I was just out running, and then I just stopped for a second and I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, what the actual fuck am I doing? And a lot of you will say that that's laziness. A lot of you will say that you're just not committed enough. You just don't want it hard enough. You know what I actually want? Deep down, I want to be able to love myself without feeling like I have to work myself to the bone to deserve it. If you asked me, like, what I wish for every birthday when I blow out those candles is just, I want to feel like I was born enough. Because then maybe I wouldn't deserve the way that I was treated. Maybe I didn't deserve that, but I don't see any evidence for that. So I have to turn myself into the version of me that didn't deserve that. And that would be someone who had a laundry list of achievements. That wouldn't be me. That wouldn't be me. I want to build an armor of everything that I've ever accomplished, just so that if anyone ever crosses my path again and says, hey, you're not deserving of love, you're not deserving of anything, I can say, well, yeah, look, I am, because I'm this, and this. But, I mean, we've heard this story countless times, how there was someone that, you know, they always wanted to be in a creative field, but they couldn't, and then either because of societal standards or family standards or their own standards for themselves, they forced themselves to go to college, and they forced themselves to go off and have these amazing careers in this incredible life. But then they get to the end of their lives and they are so freaking miserable that they don't even care that they accomplished that. They just don't care, because deep inside them, there is still this overwhelming sadness that they didn't get to be who they were meant to be, or they didn't get to do what they wanted to, or they felt they had to put themselves in a box in order to be appreciated. And that's the crossroads, and the feeling that I'm wrestling with is just like, I don't want to be productive. I don't want to be motivated. I don't want to shove myself into the box that I'm trying to fit myself in just to please others and to make them feel comfortable. It's not that I can't do it. It's not that I can't do this. It's not that I think that college is stupid or running is stupid or any of this is stupid. It's that, why the hell would I do this to myself? And there's no amount of money, and there's no amount of success, and there's no amount of praise that is going to make this feeling I have right now worth it, which is, as stupid as I know some of you will say this sounds, I'm not doing the things that I love. I've been wrestling with that philosophy for a really, really long time of, is it better to live a life that is disciplined, a life that is full of achievement, a life that is full of suffering and pushing yourself, or is it better to live a life where your heart is at ease? And I'm sitting here after breaking point after breaking point after breaking point, and I thought that every single time I pushed myself to the limits or I made myself suffer, then there would be another version of me on the other end of that, and I would get to meet them, and I would get to become this new person. And all I've realized is that maybe I never needed to change in the first place. Maybe I just needed to take a deep breath and do the things that felt right to me. Maybe I just needed to take a deep breath and listen to my heart instead of my head for a moment. And I don't know exactly what I'm gonna do from here, but I know that if I keep living with this feeling of numbness. It's gonna eat me alive, so I think I'm being too productive for my own good. I think that people who are able to be productive 24/7 or who are able to push themselves to this point, maybe they have superpowers or maybe their emotions just aren't as big as mine, but I don't think I'm ever gonna be one of those people who like achieve something big in this life. And I always wanted to be, I always wanted to be someone that accomplished something great with their life, and I don't know. I guess I've just come to some form of acceptance that maybe I'm just too tired to be great. Maybe all I can be is myself, but I don't want to be that. I want to be someone better, but every time I try to be better, I just get too tired to keep going, and I know that makes me weak. I know that makes me unproductive. I know that makes me unmotivated. I know that makes a whole bunch of you just want to bully me and call me stupid and weak, and believe me, I know. Everything you want to call me, I also want to call me, because it's so hard when you used to be like on top of the world and then your body and mind just kind of give out, and now you know you could do it, but your body and mind just give out from under you. So what are you supposed to do now, Like, what the fuck did I think I was gonna go to school and run while also working a full-time job? Like, what did I think I was gonna do? I'm just tired, okay? I'm so tired.